Hey guys, Brad Brockbank coming to you live from the University of U. Hope you're all doing fantastic. I am here with my favorite person in the entire universe, my wife, and Chatbooks Director of Customer Support, Angel Brockbank. And right now, a lot of us are working from home. For a lot of you, that's a new thing that is not common. You're used to going into the office and having to show up from 9 to 5 or whatever that might be for you. And Angel actually runs a really incredible team. Do you want to tell us about it, or do you want me to talk about it?
I can tell them about it.
All right.
So, I've been working with Chatbooks for 5.5 years, and I have a team right now of about 70 women that all work from home, and we've been doing it the entire time, not just a new thing with this quarantine. And we really love the flexibility and the ability to raise a family and keep our tight ship here at home while being able to help support our family and contribute economically to our families, as well as having the ability to have something for ourselves. So
Yeah, and if you don't know Chatbooks, it's an incredible company. It's an app. You can download it on your smartphone, and you can turn all of the photos that you upload to Instagram or Facebook or your phone likes, or no, your phone favorites.
right, you can just do your camera roll on your phone
Or camera roll.
or your computer.
Yeah, and what it does is it takes those photos that you upload and it turns them into little books. And every 60 books, if you're on the series,
60 pictures.
every 60 pictures, sorry, if you're
There.
on the series, it'll send it off to the printer, and then in a little bit,
It's like a journal to your life.
yeah, we have a whole little section of cute little Chatbooks that are all lined up. We love them.
Yep.
So with that, there is some really, really cool things from Angel working from home. And I wanted to bring her on here to talk a little bit about what are some of the issues they face that they have to be thinking through constantly. How do they mitigate those? How do they stay productive? And so let's just jump in right there on the first. Tell me a little bit about what are some of the challenges faced from working at home and having the family all around.
It is easy to get distracted. It is easy to have the whole day go by and you're like, wow, how in the world is it 5 o'clock and time to make dinner? So you do have to be very purposeful and intentful with your time and what you're focusing on, and organized as well. So working from home is definitely not for everybody. I've seen that as we have gone through 5.5 years with many different. We do customer service, so that's what my team does. So with all of the people that I've worked with, the majority of them are incredible. We've had a few that have really struggled with working from home, especially with little children. So it's not easy for everybody. If you struggle, it's okay. That is normal to struggle. And it takes some time, and we always have an adjustment period when we go from school year to the summer with kids. That's really hard to adjust to, and so it takes a little bit to get into your groove. So it's normal to be struggling right now, and that's okay. Like, don't feel like you're a bad mom or a bad worker or a bad dad even. It's totally normal to have that adjustment period, and so just giving yourself grace and not being so hard on yourself, and kind of setting the expectations low right now. I think right now, not only are we trying to adjust to the quarantine and, and just like, okay, now we're all at home and we're all together under one roof and it's quite loud. Just adjusting to that. But then on top of it, like, Utah had an earthquake today, and actually a few of them. And, just the uncertainty with the coronavirus, all of that kind of stuff. It's totally okay to not be okay, essentially. Like, that's normal. So just give yourself some slack and just do the small amounts of things and have little tiny wins. So for me, one of the biggest things that I do is I have a to-do list, and I have I have a few different parts of it. So I just keep this on my notes on my phone because I have a MacBook, and so I'm able to look at the notes on my computer or my phone, whichever one I'm on. So when I think of something like, oh yeah, I need to remember to do this, I'll add it to that. And so I basically have, every day I have a running to-do list. And for me, just like checking that little button saying that I did it is like a huge win. It's got like all the dopamine and all of that. I'm like, yes, I did something. I can cross that off my list. If I forget to add something and I do it, I'll even add it in there just so that I can push that button and feel like I've accomplished more. So it's important to have a to-do list, and not just for home, but for work too. So I separate them based off of like I'll put my work stuff at the top and then my home stuff at the bottom, so that when I'm not working, I can be like, okay, what's on my list for home stuff? And I try to put them in order of priority. And I also, one of the biggest things that I think that I have learned, and a lot of people really appreciate when I say this, is don't expect to do everything on your to-do list. It's just not going to happen. I have the understanding with myself and the agreement with myself that it's okay to not finish everything on there. But I do have some things that I'm like, okay, I have to do this today because it's a priority, and I'll put those at the top. The other thing is we all have things we don't like to do. He doesn't like to take out the trash. I don't like to make dinner, but I have to, and so it's important to put that at the top of your list so that you can just check it off and be done with it. Like, that's the biggest thing. Is a lot of times, even like making phone calls, like I need to call the Costco optical to make an appointment to get more contacts. Okay. I don't really want to do that. It's been on my list for a few days. I need to do it. So what I'll do is I'll put that at the top of my list and get it done first thing, so that you're not dreading it all day. It's like, oh, that really wasn't that hard, right? So the really important things that's really helpful, because it will make the rest of your day awesome, and you won't be going throughout your day being like, oh my gosh, I still have to do that, and just like dreading when you're gonna do it. So just get those really yucky things out of the way. I mean, calling somebody is not that yucky, but for some people it is not very fun. I don't like doing it as much, but that was just an example. Anyway.
But with the Costco thing, we're waiting until the quarantine's over.
Yeah, yes. That's another thing. I'm not going to go to Costco right now. But anyway, that's why it's been on my to-do list for a few days. I was using it as an example. So do the not fun things.
Hold on, really quick. So yeah, that's really important. Let me ask you for a lot of our viewers who don't work from home, but they're kind of here for the first time doing this, how do you handle when Charlie, who's now home out of school, comes running in, and you're trying to get into the workflow, and you're trying to make things happen, and he comes in and says, Mom, I really want you to play a game with me. Like, please. He's so excited you're home.
Yeah.
Now, in our case, we both work from home. Angel does go into the office twice a week for meetings and things like that, but most of the time we're home. So for us, we're kind of used to this pattern and cycle, but for those of you that aren't, that you're at the office all day and it's kind of like that's work time, how do you handle those distractions? What do you teach your women who are working on your team, like when they start having that and they're like, oh, this is new?
Well, so our team is really, really awesome at this, and they all have really, really good things. I've actually learned so much from them, more than I've taught them. They're really great. So some examples that they've given me even is to have special toys that only come out when it's work time. So you can have like a bin of specific toys that they only get to play with when you're on a conference call, for example, if you need it to be really quiet. And it's like, they will get so excited because those are the special toys that they don't get to play with all the time. Another thing that you can do is, I've heard podcasts. They have kid podcasts. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. So, and also some are like reading stories. So if you get like coloring books, they will like to color and listen, and they'll color a lot longer if they're listening or watching a movie even. There's so many different types of things available out there, especially right now with all the kids being home from school unexpectedly. I know Scholastic came out with kind of like a homeschool type of thing. ABC Mouse has been something really great for younger kids. So there's just a lot of different things. The other thing is, don't feel guilty to put them in front of a movie. If you're having to do a conference call or you need to do like a power hour for work, like, just don't feel guilty for doing that. It's, normally it's kids are at school and you're at work, and like, this isn't normal for you. So don't feel like, okay, I have to be like the best homeschool mom now or dad, and I have to have something for them every hour, and we're gonna do this craft and this project, and we're gonna bake cookies and all of that. And there are some people out there that are really awesome at that, and I give them all props. Like, that's great. I'm guessing that by day 3, they're probably gonna throw that out the window and be like, okay, let's do something more realistic. But there are some women that is reality, and that's great. For me personally, I have to kind of schedule things out. For Charlie, when he's home for the summer, I'll say, okay, here's what we're going to do today. You can watch a movie, and then you can do some chores. Here's the chores that you can do. Go clean your room, things like that. And then we're going to have lunch. It's important for you to take breaks. That's the other thing, is it's really easy for me when he is at school to work the entire time and not get up, and then I don't drink water, I don't eat. Like, it's really easy to just get in that mode when your kids aren't there or they aren't begging you. So because they are there and they are begging you, take some breaks. It's okay. Do some things with them. When they talk to you, if you're not on the phone, look them in the eye. Pay attention to them, because honestly, they are so excited that you're home and that they're home and that you get to have that interaction and contact, and now is a really good chance to spend time with them. But I understand that you've got work to do too, and so if you look them in the eye and say, hey buddy, or hey sweetie, like, I totally understand and I really want to play a game with you. I have a conference call right now. It's going to be over at this time, and have them look at the clock and say, okay, at that time, that's when we're going to go. We're going to have a snack and we're going to play Uno or something like that. So just find that balance, but make sure that they do feel important. Charlie just recently, it was so sweet. He brought home this stack of papers, and I was looking through them. It was just mostly like graded homework. I was going to throw them away, but something told me to go through it, and so I was going through it really closely, and I found this book that he made. And he was supposed to make this book out of, like, anything you want to write about, you can write about. And he decided to write about how much he loved his mom. It was the sweetest thing ever. But part of it, one of the pages, it said that my mom works so, and he did like a million O's, so much. And I just felt so bad that was like part of his book about how much he loved me and how much we love to snuggle, and she works so much. So I was like, okay, I need to improve the balance there, and how he feels. And one of the things that I'm really trying to do is make eye contact with him and help him to know that there is a time and a place for each things. And when I'm not working, I try to do interactive things with him, because that's really what he loves. He loves playing games, he loves talking, and he loves that interaction and that eye contact. So that's really important, but it's also important for you to work right now. Like, you've got to keep your job, like, that is crazy important right now. And so it's just important to communicate with your children and just find that balance and let them know that at this time, that's when they can look forward to it. And in the meantime, they can play with these toys, or they can watch this movie, or, that kind of thing.
So, and if any of you, it's good to see all you guys on here. Let's see, we got Paul, we got Jeff and Jeannie, we've got Mark, Shelly, Haley. Good to see you guys on here. Thanks for tuning in and letting us share a little bit with you. If you guys have questions or situations that you're running into that's like, this is actually kind of hard, tell us, ask a question here. We're seeing the feed, and we'd love to answer your questions. Jenny just joined us. Jenny, thanks for joining on. But seriously, if you guys have questions, this is the woman to ask. She has ran across just about every experience you can have with her team of, at one point the team had over 100 women on it, and there are about 70 women there now. And so she's worked for 5.5 years in this industry, setting up this team, and it's pretty amazing. So what are some of the ways you can make it more fun, more enjoyable? Earlier you said give yourself a little slack, and tell them a little bit about the importance of, actually, there's a program called Slack. And why is that important, and what is it?
There's Slack, and then I think that there's another one that's similar to it called Microsoft Teams. Have you heard of that? Yeah. So some people have Microsoft Teams. I really like Slack. I don't know anything about Microsoft Teams, but what my team does is, Slack is a communication program that really allows us to be able to communicate pretty much as if we were in the office together. We have different channels. You can have DMs with individuals. You can have little groups. So it's really, really helpful for communication, and it's really how we work at home all the time. It's fun because we do a lot of Giphies and emojis, and you can do polls. You can do lots of really fun stuff. One of the channels that I have right now, I have my team working on subscriptions that were paused and need to be restarted. And so they'll reach out to the customer and say, hey, notice that you paused a subscription to edit this book. Would you like to restart it? Can I help you with your edits, kind of thing. And so anytime that they get a customer to restart it, they do a Giphy of like a congratulations Giphy, or like I did it Giphy. And it's really fun. That's one of my favorite channels right now, at least, because it's just really fun to see all of the different personalities and all the different Giphies. We also, one of my other favorite ones is our chat snaps. So this comes from Legally Blonde 2, where Reese Witherspoon teaches them, they were all fighting, and she teaches them to compliment each other, and they just...
It's the snap cup.
It's a snap cup. So because we're Chatbooks, we do chat snaps, and not to be confused with Snapchat. So some people get confused with that. So anyway, anytime a customer messages in with a great chat snap, with a great compliment, we post it to that channel. And so it's really fun just all day long to see great compliments from customers and how happy they are with our service. And then we have another one that's called internal chat snaps, where we compliment each other and high five each other, pat on the back for doing awesome things. So, it's all about recognition, all about appreciation, positivity, and complimenting each other, that kind of thing. When you have an atmosphere like that, you just want to be there all day long. It's hard to get disconnected from work, because I enjoy it so much because of the atmosphere. So yeah, that's some good tips for that.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't have Slack, it's free, so you can set up a team and connect with people, or just set up your own text threads. Having that human interaction, especially while we're on quarantine, and being able to give a digital high five and still connect with people without spreading the virus, it's great. And it's important that you have that connection, because you will go stir crazy. Being at home, it starts getting your head. You don't know, you're not getting that verbal feedback from your bosses and your coworkers saying, hey, you're doing a great job, or even knowing if you're not doing a great job. But when you start to connect through these digital means, it can really, really help you mentally and emotionally be like, okay, I'm making good progress, especially being in this situation.
Another thing that's really important to remember is that when you're not in person, and you, like right now, but you usually are, there's some hard conversations that need to be had, and those need to be had over either FaceTime or a conference call like Zoom. Slack does have a video phone call or just a phone call. Don't do those over text. It's really easy to assume the worst and change the tone over what was intended. So whenever there's anything that might be perceived as not positive, always take that to the phone call or a conference call so that you guys can see that body language, so that you can hear the tone and understand, the just where it's coming from and stuff. It makes it a lot easier, and it prevents potential issues.
Yesterday we talked a lot about how the mind goes to assumption or forecasting things that aren't true, and especially when there's something where the boss says, "Hey, this isn't what I expected," immediately the mind goes to negative thinking. And I have a statement. You guys are going to hear a lot about this during this quarantine. We talk a lot about it says, whenever there's a lack of communication or information, the human mind almost always resorts to worst case scenario. And it's just something we naturally do. We get a little bit of bad news and we start to augment it. We start to grow it in our minds, and it can really turn into a bad negative situation for ourselves because we went into assumption.
Even I found sometimes when there is communication, but one person is in a really bad place in their mind, and there are some people right now, it might be you, it might be your coworker. But either way, you need to be aware of it for yourself as well as for other people, that when you're not in a good place in your mind, a lot of time everything that you read goes into the tone that you have in your head. So if you write something that is even positive, but maybe it's short, for example, it's really easy, especially on Slack, to go to somebody and just be like, "Hey, this needs to be done." Rather than, "Hey, how's it going? Did you have a good day?" When you're in person, your interactions, you can see their face, you can hear their tone, and usually in person, or even over the phone, you're going to do a little bit of small talk. So when you're on Slack or on text or, anything like that, you're going to find that it's really easy just to type something fast and shoot it off. And if that person is not in a very good place, or does not have a good relationship of trust with you, it's very easy to just assume that person is upset at you. That's something that I still need to work on, because I'm just going so fast. I have so many moving parts, so many people talking to me at one time, that I'll copy something and paste it to somebody else without being like, "Hey, good morning, how are you?" Kind of thing. And so it's really important to remember that, and also gauging the person that you're talking to. Maybe they're a little more sensitive. Maybe, what do you know about them? That kind of thing. So definitely keep that in mind. Anytime that you're starting a conversation, it's really helpful to say, "Hi, how are you doing? How is the family?" Things like that. And just make sure that you don't just bark commands at people, because they will assume that you're upset, or just be like, "Okay, fine, I'll do it," kind of thing. So just, you have to be extra friendly. You have to kind of exaggerate that kindness and friendliness, because it's through text and it's not over the phone. So
yeah. Well, I haven't seen any questions come through, but we sure are grateful to have all of you guys watching and participating in it. So, any last thoughts that people need to...
Yeah, I did have one other thing, is get outside. Don't work all day long. Take breaks, and it's a lot easier to do when your kids are home, and it can help you and them to kind of break the day up. So if you let them know, communicate with them, "I'm going to work until this time, and then we're going to go on a walk, or then we're going to go for a little drive," or something. But get out of the house, stand up, stretch, maybe go work out a little bit. You can even work out with your kids. There's some really great things out there on YouTube. Lots of companies or gyms are offering free things. So get up, move, go outside, do all of that kind of stuff. But don't sit
Just
on your couch.
maintain a 6-foot parameter.
Yeah. Don't sit on your couch all day, and don't expect your kids to either. They remember that, especially the younger ones, they have recess. And now it's up to you to give them recess. And if not, they will start misbehaving. And remember, it's because they've got that energy and it's all cooked up. And if you're stressed and you're feeling anxiety, they're going to feel it. So get out there, move, get some fresh air, and be kind to yourself and to your kids.
Yeah. And one other trick, and just it's really important. When you're going through this day, make blocks, because you're not going to be able to just do the 9 to 5 thing. So say, all right, I'm going to work for 45 minutes, and then I'm going to take a 15-minute break, whether that's to play with the kids, whether that's just to go
change the laundry.
Yeah, do whatever. Give yourself a little bit of time to break things up into smaller portions where you say, okay, I'm just going to go this far, then I'm going to stop, and I'm going to take care of some other things, and then I'm going to do it again.
And it's easy to go say, I'm going to accomplish this and this during this period of time, and once I'm finished, or once that time period comes, or once I'm finished with that, then I'll take a break. So you can decide, if you want to keep a tight ship on your time clock or with your tasks, but have those breaks, like you said, and then reward yourself with, a shower or some snacks, some cookies that you had delivered to you, whatever.
Yeah. Just be okay breaking it up. It really does
to you and your kids.
Make a difference in the way that your day will go and the way you'll feel at the end of the day. Because if you just try to do it like, I'm at work, don't bother me, you're going to end up pretty rough by the end of the day. So
your kids will act out.
Yeah, well,
and you'll act stressed. Out. Yeah.
So another thing, if you didn't catch yesterday's video, go watch it. It talks a lot about things about keeping this from getting anxious and out of control. And that will be really important for helping you be able to not lose your sanity. And hopefully these tips will be really helpful for you as well. Again, during the quarantine, the voluntary quarantine, we have our University of You group. It is open it's a membership group. Normally it's $30 a month, but right now it's free. And so come and join, sign up. And during this time, you'll get to see all our trainings. We have conversations going in there. There's a lot of really amazing people that you can ask questions and get some thoughts just throughout the day. When we talked about Slack earlier and having some connection, great place to be able to do that. And there's a Kajabi app that you can download that I host all of my things through Kajabi. And you can have an app that you go to, just like your Facebook groups, but this is just strictly the University of You. So we'd love to have you there. And I'm really grateful for my wife taking some time and sharing her expertise. She actually gets paid to do this stuff, which is pretty awesome. And she was recently featured in the Wall Street Journal in an article and asked to speak at conferences on this. There's another PR thing going on right now that they want to talk to her about working at home with a spouse that works at home. And so just a lot of really amazing things. We're really lucky to have her and for all the support she gives the University of You and myself.
I'm lucky to have Chatbooks. It's a great company to work for.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So we're grateful and grateful for each of you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting us. And we will talk with you all very soon. In the meantime, let's get out there and crush it.
See ya.